All right. A minute, please. Okay, so good. So I'm welcoming everyone, especially to class. This is the long anticipated professional training on health, safety, and environment. Okay, good morning. Sorry, let me try to see what um, Mr. Femi is saying. Please kindly permit me to join back. Okay, and you can join whenever you are back, but the training is going to progress. All right, so a very big welcome to everyone. Thank you all for joining this professional training on health, safety, and environment. This has been long anticipated. I think for more than close to 2 months, we've been promoting this training. And I want to say congratulations and welcome to everyone who has registered for this training. So this training is actually free. Participation in this training, nobody has been charged a dime for you to be a part of this training. Courtesy COC Concept Training Company Limited. We've been in the business of professional trainings for a couple of years now, and trust me, when it comes to passing on the knowledge, when it comes to quality of training, we're actually one of the best. We try as much as possible to give our best, irrespective of the mode of training, either physical or online or virtual. And either the training is free or is paid, you are going to be getting the best of quality when it comes to professional training. So once again, I say a very big welcome to you all. Yes, my name is Kende Samson Ogumiwa. Of course, if you have joined the introductory session, if you joined the introductory session we had a couple of weeks back, yes, you should be familiar with this space. So I am Kende Samson Ogumiwa. For the purpose of those who don't know or who have not seen the space before, and I'm an administrative personnel with CC Concept Training Company Limited. Not just an administrative personnel, I'm also a trainer. Yes, do conduct a whole lot of management trainings, engineering trainings. Yes, so you'll be seeing more of this space as we progress in this training, and there are subsequent trainings that we are going to be unfolding for the month. All right, so I want to say welcome again to you all. Thank you all for joining, for registering for this training. We said a whole lot that you need to know about this training on the introductory session we had. We said a whole lot on the group as well, on the WhatsApp group. I want to believe that everyone who is on board this live session with me, you are actually on one registered group or the other. So you're on the registered group for this training. So every information you need, we've actually dropped them on the group. Yes, information relating to how you can obtain the certification for this training, the discount offers that we have for you for the course of this training, and what is the duration for the discount offer. So I would still emphasize more on that, perhaps maybe at the end of this training. So you have a limited time for those who will be taking the certification for this training, and I think I can say that yes, quite a couple of persons are already showing commitment towards it. So that's quite encouraging. Kudos to you, because we have a limited time. So once we end this training, I think you have about 5 days for you to obtain the certification for this training. So a whole lot of questions, a whole lot has been has been talked on, has been discussed. All information you need to know regarding the training, the certification, as been mentioned before now. So we are trying to see how we can maximize the time that we are going to be living, the time we are going to be using to facilitate this training, so we can touch on the necessary things that we need to touch on. All right. So once again, I say welcome to you. So please, as you are joining me in this live session, I want you to go to the comment section. I would love you to introduce yourself. So from wherever you are joining from outside Nigeria, you are joining from within Nigeria, Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, as far as Akwa Ibom, Gombe. So just go to the comment section, introduce yourself, tell us your name, tell us where you are joining us from. I would have mentioned that tell us the expectation, but I think you already did a poll on that on the WhatsApp platform. So let's introduce ourselves. Let's get familiarized with one another. Yes, I might be saying your name so that others too will know, so we can get to familiarize with one another. So the rules of this training session are very simple. The rules of the training session are simple. So once you are joining, okay, ensure your microphone is on mute. It's going to be a very, very interactive one. So please, when you are called on to speak, that is when you should unmute your mic. If you are not called, please don't unmute your mic. So we want to maintain decorum as as low as good as want to maintain decorum at the best. All right. So please just ensure that we comply to the rules of the class. So we are going to be dropping the class attendance for today's class. Today's practice will be having. So today's attendance will be dropped on the platform in the comment section. So please ensure that you fill the class attendance. So immediately we enter this class, the attendance will be taken offline. You won't have access to the attendance again. So attendance is actually meant for when the class is on. So please make sure you take or you fill out the attendance form. So those joining us via the YouTube live link, so please you will do likewise. The attendance form is going to be dropped on the in the comment section as well. So please endeavor to to fill out the attendance forms. All right, so I can see yes, quite a number of persons already introducing themselves. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much all for introducing yourselves. I can see Unique Day from Lagos. I can see Jacob. Thank you for joining us. Jacob is joining us from Abeokuta. Yes, Evidence is joining us from Abuja. Yes, so let's keep the introductions coming in. So yes, our renowned resource person is here. Of course, if you were part of the introductory session, we already introduced who our trainer is going to be. Yes, but let me do all the honors of introducing him again. When it comes to the field of engineering, when it comes to the field of training in the engineering field, management field, just name it. Is actually one of the best hands that we have when it comes to training because of his methodologies, I beg your pardon, by which he trains, is actually, one of the best. So yes, he has quite a number of years of experience when it comes to the field of engineering, close to 20 years of experience in that field. So he's an authority when it comes, to talking to you about, safety. Yes, talking of none other person than Mr. James Panini. If you have attended maybe any of our classes before, if you attended any of our classes before, then you should already know the person I'm talking about, Mr. Panini James. So he's the best in the field. Yes, and there's going to be testament towards that by the end of the class. All right, so he's going to be joining us shortly. You'll be hearing his voice. So please, I would implore us, the end of the class is when we are going to be taking questions. So please, so that we wouldn't disrupt the flow of the class. So please, your questions, note them down. By the end of the class, we will be taking on questions. All right, so without further ado, let's get straight to class. So I'll be bringing our resource person on board. So please, for the purpose of effective facilitation of this training, of this class, we'll be making use of some of our materials, recorded materials. So we promised earlier that at the end of the training, we'll be releasing the course material. So once you are getting your certification for the training, the course material is going to be sent alongside. It's going to be sent alongside. So be rest assured, the course material is going to be sent, to you, to your respective emails. So please, what is needed of you for the purpose of this class is your undivided attention. So we'd love you to give us your undivided attention so that we can, learn better. There are some things that the trainer is going to touch on that perhaps you might not, find in the material. So there are some case studies that the trainer is going to be using that you won't find in the material. So please, I would implore us, let's, give the trainer our undivided attention so that the class can go smoothly and we can communicate, effectively. All right.
very fast. So welcome to Health Safety and Environment Training, Level 1, 2, 3. And when we talk about HSE, we are speaking of health, we are speaking of safety, we are speaking of environmental safety as well. Because when you look at these three key elements, they are like a triangular format that put the basic of operation across every industry. So there is no industry where we shouldn't be concerned with the health of the workers, those people that are doing the work. When they are healthy, definitely they will be able to carry out their responsibility and their assignment committed into their hands. When we also talk about industries, there are machines that we interact with, there are you know, uh, instruments, there are devices that we interact with, and it's very important for us to know how safe they are for us to actually use them. Okay, are they really safe for us to make use of them? I will really say the person using them is safe while he's actually what using them. So we have to ensure that everyone interacting with the machines are doing so safely. And when we talk about industries, every industry also, uh, you know, they are located in a particular environment. So we want to consider environment. Sometimes you hear word like conducive environment. Is the environment where you are working, is it conducive or not? So that is what we are speaking of. That's what we are talking about. So to start with, what is the importance of this training to you? I know you have dropped a lot at the comment box, the in message. What is how important is it to you? Sometimes, if you don't know how important something is, you may not know the kind of value that you need to attach to it. But when you know the importance, then you begin to value it. You begin to see your reaction towards it. You begin to know how you should handle it. Okay, the rating you should give to it over 5 over 10. An engineer, you may be perfect at what you do. If you are in the health sector, you will be perfect at what you do. But what happens when you do what you do without thinking of safety? Safety is beyond you that is actually doing the work. Safety, how it affects you, one, how it affects people around you where you work, how it affects the devices that you are putting to use, and how it affects the company in the long run. Every company would love to have a safe and healthy workers. Every company would like to maintain a reputation that within the year, okay, they record no injury and no death of their workers. And that is why we tell people that knowledge of health, safety, and environment is very important. It is not just for you, it is something that attracts employers when they see that you have a certification in it. It goes beyond even your BSc, your BSc, or whatever that you may be holding. It means that when they are putting you to use, you will do the job and you will not put their name in problem. It means that when you do the job, you will not be responsible for injuries or death of a fellow worker. It means that when you are doing the job, you are not going to give them a bad name in the society. It means that when you are doing the job, you are not going to lead them into having legal cases at their hands. Employers don't joke with employees that have this knowledge. Employers don't joke with employees that have the certification to show for this particular knowledge. So as an engineer, you may know how to hold your plier to do the work, but can you hold your plier to do the work without you having a cut? An electrical man will know that you can do connection perfectly so that there will be supply. But while doing it, are you sure that somebody interacting with that machine will not receive electric shock? The nurse As a doctor, we know that you can treat the patient, but while treating the patient, we hope that when you are treating the patient that has maybe HIV or HIV virus, you are not going to transport this mistakenly to another patient who is clean. We hope that while doing your work, you'll be conscious of safety. Protect yourself, to protect the patient, to protect everyone that you are working with. And that's how it goes across every industry. The knowledge is key. And that's why you see that we have been intensifying and emphasizing on the need for you to attend the training. Because a lot of people, I have few people, know, I don't know if other admins also have some people like that, they actually need the certification. They are not looking at the angle of the training. No, comes first is the training. You need to have the knowledge. Because it's not only about you defending your certification, it's about you being able to put to use the essence, the real essence of HSE. In this training, let's look at the objectives and outcomes. We want to, through this training, establish safe working practices, safe behaviors to assist them in working safely, that is the employees, to assist you in working safely from the exposure of hazards, risks encountered at work. There is no place of work, no matter how perfect the place may be, there are hazards. There is no place where you work, there are potential hazards. They may be active or they may not be active, but definitely just know that what there are hazards. So how do you work without getting exposed to these hazards? That is what we are talking about. Training will help you to identify and evaluate workplace health and safety risks to put mitigation measures in place. You need to know that where you work right now, there are, risks that you must identify. You must know that these things are risky. So like, oh, there's no risk where I work. No, we may reduce risk to the barest minimum, but definitely there are risks. In every workplaces, in every nature of work, there are risks. How do you now put a mitigation measure in place to actually be sure that yes, you are not what affected, or you don't have nemesis waiting for you in the nearest future? I've worked in a company where a particular section of that company has to do with blasting. So there is a mine where they have to blast milestones and all that, limestone, they blast limestones and the rest of the materials. So they come from the mines. So when these guys that we call miners, they are the ones working in mines. And early morning when we are going to work, we follow staff bus. The funny thing is that it's the funny way we normally identify those people that work in mines. We identify those people that work in mines. When you enter the staff bus and you see or hear that they are calling somebody so loud and the person did not hear, the person is not answering, everybody will. Why? Because most of them are prone to deaf and dumb. Their eardrum. The normal decibel, to the human ears, the kind of decibel that your own eardrum is exposed to every day is far above that. So when you are talking to them, you will think that you are speaking loud. If the name of the person is Thompson, you say, Thompson, 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 he will not hear you. Until you not bring your mouth close. Thompson, normal human being supposed to jitter. Like, you're supposed to like spring up, see, oh, why are you scaring me? Why are you putting your mouth in my ears? That's for a normal human being. But for a minor, trust me, he will answer you as if you just, just whisper into it. Whereas you shouted into his eardrum. The eardrum is already, becoming damaged. we start gradually like reality. So that's what we are talking about. Nothing is different, and there are some risks that on a daily basis you may be exposing yourself to them unknowingly, and then they laugh on you. To identify and report potential and actual hazards associated with facilities. If you are attending this training, after this training, you should be able to walk through a particular section at your place of work and be able to point out these that as things that could actually contribute to risk in that particular environment. So you should be able to identify. That's what we are talking about. So when you look at the environment where you work, you should be able to identify risk or things that we call harms, which are actual hazards or potential hazards. This training will help you to understand the application, care, and inspection of personal protective equipment, your PPE, to get you to actually understand the application of it, how you care for it, and how you inspect your PPE, personal protective equipment. To help you to know and appreciate the relevance of emergency response planning, basic first aid, and CPR in the work environment. These are very, very core things. We talked about them. We just mentioning what you are about to gain in this training. Understand the key elements of fire safety, including an overview of the main fire hazards in the workplace and what kind of measures that you can put in place to prevent the risk of fire. So we'll talk about that also. A lot of people will be wondering, oh Lord, how are we going to cover this first thing? We are moving together and we are in this training with me. So let's see how we can actually deal with that. And the summarized view of this training is to make you a safety champion. Please go to the e-message, just type for me safety champion. I want to see if you are active in this training. Just type for me safety champion. Safety champion, safety champion. Let that be ongoing at the e-message while I continue with the training. Please, it shows that you are active with me and you are not just here. You know, some people, when they are having training like this, they just log in. They just log in the training, and then they are gone already. So you are not here to just mark attendance, you are here to be what active. So let's move on. I hope I'm audible, Mr. Moderator. Am I audible? Sorry. Okay, thank you so much. Any from incident and accidents. It is very important that we know that in safety, we don't joke with, past experience. We don't joke with things that have happened. They teach us how to handle, situations better. There is a saying that experience is the best teacher. So we have to learn from things that have happened for us to prevent things that may also happen. So in learning from incident and accident, we are still in the introductory stage. We learn by identifying the causes of incident and accidents. We learn by highlighting the lessons that we could actually highlight from the incident and accident. We learn by using what we have learned to improve the safety of the workplace and also to prevent the occurrence of such. So let's get to work. What is HSE? Of course, we have known in the summary that I've done during the introduction that the A in the HSE means health, S means safety, and E means environment. Please, when you are in my training, I am not here to blow grammar. I want you to understand. I want you, to be able to, express what you have learned and apply it. And that is why I avoid the professional jargons a lot when I'm delivering. Those people that are not attending my training facilitation for the first time, they will know this routine. So let me go straight to the point. What is health? Let's look at the grammar first and then let's break it down. We say health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. You know, as a layman, when you look at layman understanding, when you say somebody is healthy, I think as people, they want, they are looking at you like your eyes can see, your desk work, oh, your voice is loud, your eyeballs are not real, blah, 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 blah. They look at the complete physical appearance. But no, in the safety profession, when we are considering health, we are looking at beyond the physical fitness. We are looking at the mental and social well-being alongside the physical well-being. Not just because you are not in the hospital, not just because you have not been diagnosed of malaria or typhoid or HIV or whatever it may be, not because you have not lost an arm at the place of war or you have not lost your leg, but because we could certify that, yes, when we're talking about health, mentally you are fit, physically you are fit, socially you are fit. And when you look at this, many people focus on the physical, health and neglect the mental health. The environment of the place where you work can actually affect your mental health. It's quite possible. The kind of shift that you run at the place of work can affect your mental health. It may affect the way you relate to people. So many other things could actually go on. So when we talk to employees and employers about safety, we're just looking at, oh, okay, let's carry out some tests, oh, they're all physically fit and everything. Mentally, other things. When you delay somebody's salary, there is a mental illness that you are placing in the person. So for you to know that safety training actually goes beyond just engineering, medical, or anything whatsoever. Yes, all professions, safety training comes across all professions. So when we talk to people that are in HR, department, you must make sure that people's salary are not being what to do. If they mentally, they will be disturbed. People will not concentrate at work. There are expenses, there are bills, and then here you are, not knowing when the salary is going to be paid. Let it be defined. Are they going to be getting their salary on the 28th? Is it on the 27th? Let it be. When people run too long a shift, that could actually excessively stress them. We have been to a plant before where we see some workers, employees, their job has to do with standing. And you can imagine somebody standing for a full 8 hours, non-stop. How do you think the person will feel? For a full 8 hours, for you to be standing and your hands are busy. And some people in the process, because they are stressed, they will forget that their hands are already inside the machine and they will cut the blade. And that's how people don't lose work. Now, why is this person losing hand? It's not because the machine is not properly guarded. It is not because the machine is faulty. It's because the person is mentally stressed. There are some companies that sometimes it's good for you to actually be your employees, some social kind of that thing, and make them to actually ease off stress and we call it camaraderie that will allow them to actually interact beyond work. Because to make them to actually synergize, to make the leadership to actually flow well. And guess what? After these activities, after this practice, a lot of them, to be sincere, they will come back to testify that, oh, it works. Because I now know Mr. Jide beyond Mr. Jide. I know that Mr. Jide loves football. So sometimes when we are out work, we can talk about people. And when we come to work, we can hardly fight because we relate based on the level of, something that is closer than just seeing ourselves as colleagues. So being healthy is beyond physical health. Safety. Safety is the freedom from man, equipment, method, and environmental interactions that result in accidents. So in other words, we want to look at the process through which we carry out our work. The processes by which people carry out their work in this company is it really safe? It is an act of safety that leads to what we call log out, tag out in safety, where somebody that wants to work on the machine will have to go and take permission. Seek for permission for you to see that, oh, can I go ahead to work on this machine now? Is it safe for me to carry out maintenance on this machine or carry out here? Electrical supply, is it out already? Not that tag out, help us do that. And it's an act of safety that guide us totally what arrive at such practice. Okay? Safety, and another way we can say that is an acceptable level of risk. You know, I told you before that definitely there will be some risk attached to the work that you are doing. But there is something we call alarm as low as reasonably practicable. So it's the kind of risk that you have at work must be, be put under alarm. That is, must be put as low as reasonably practicable. Okay, it must be the kind of risk that is worth taking. It's not the kind of risk that have high severity or high likelihood, such that it is very high that the harm will actually result from taking the risk, or that somebody can lose his life when when the harm is eventually being caused. So I would say that we must put the risk very, very important. And that's when we can now say that, oh, say for you to use this equipment, there is no equipment that cannot enjoy it. There is no equipment that cannot give you. But the likelihood of being injured by this equipment is it very low? If it's very low, then you are what? What happens when the arm results from this particular? What kind of how severe will the injury be? Can it take life? Can it make somebody to lose his head? Can it make somebody to lose his hand? No, not for that. You can only give the person to cost. Say that, okay, this kind of risk can stay with us. But a risk that you know that if it happens, somebody's life will be taken. That is not a risk. That should actually reside with us at the place where we work. Now, environment. Of course, we know what environment is, our surroundings. And in this case, it has to do with the surroundings in which an organization operates, including the air, water, land, natural resources, everything in that environment. It's very important. What in a company before, when the nature of what we do was actually posing a lot of risk to the community. That is, the community. They are receiving some level of risk from the nature of work that they are actually doing. So I wouldn't tell you the name of the company or the kind of the sports. What I'm saying is that there was some level of risk, to the community, to the nature of what we're doing. And most times they come to attack the company. We have the crisis manager that will attend to that, go to see their ballet and all that, settle, and company will still continue to operate. So, and that is not a good practice. So when what we are doing, start affecting the environment, definitely it's for. So let's look at the importance, like I've been emphasizing. Why HSE? Because the knowledge of this course, this profession, will help us to protect people. It will protect the workers, it will protect the communities where we work, it will protect even the equipment. So it protects the people, it helps us to safeguard the environment, it saves us from legal implication for us to actually comply legally. There are some legal regulations that guide the nature of work that we are doing. some chemicals we must not release into the community, some fields that must not go out into the community, the employees that are working, the level of safety we should give them. And in the long run, it helps us save costs. Many companies don't know that knowledge and trainings of safety actually help you to save costs. Because whether you like it or not, what safety, if you violate safety culture, what that will cost you will be far more than what it may cost to put safety measures in place. Very, very negligible. The amount you spend in putting safety culture, safety practices in place, the amount that you will save is negligibly compared to the amount it will cost you if eventually you report and you have some accident or some cases, incident resulting from you not practicing on safety. You could be sued as a company. Someone that, is a friend, and this happened to his elder brother. The elder brother and his colleague, they were working on forklifts, they were working at heights, and unfortunately, they had a free fall. Free fall to the extent that the young man, in fact, he was about to get married, just about to get married, his invitation was still on. Just his spinal cord, it became vegetable to the extent that the hospital, he said he was practically begging the medical doctor to come and inject him to death. Because how could he survive? Somebody that was about to get married, but right now, to turn, we have to turn him. He's going to be on himself, on himself. It was such an unfortunate incident. And what happened to the elder brother, to this friend of mine? He lost his teeth. He lost his teeth. His mouth was in the long run because it was a free fall. So you can just imagine, when you want to understand what I'm talking about, imagine you being in the teeth. You can only take the teeth, maybe you take the teeth, not you, because I know the spirit of Africa. A lot of us the same God for you guys. But we are just using this for us to really know how serious what we're talking about. So imagine somebody in the end, a free fall from maybe 20 stories that are just coming down. Free fall means that nothing is stopping the knees, they are just coming and all their body was just eating everywhere and their spines everything on ground. The man lost his set of teeth. His own was even okay, but being okay that we're talking about, he spent months. But don't forget my emphasis. My emphasis is on the cost. Because their instrument was not properly inspected. So it was a case for the owner of that contract. And guess what? He was spending everything. He was spending everything just stability. Because to the extent that at the point, he wanted to say that he's tired, blah, 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 they are spending together. Oh, let's go look at them. Maybe we should sue you. They don't know that these people, no matter how much you spend on them, you can't bring their body in them. This is the bigger truth. So, not adhering to your safety rules, it costs you more and it can never fix what the damages that would have happened. It is very important. And that is why it is very important for you also. Now, it happens to this. The employer may spend money, but you can't again yourself. When you lose an arm, what you can give with the number, even though you think that support and you pay some benefits, that cannot give the number. No amount of money can replace that and do that. So safety first, you have to be safety conscious. You have to know that your loved ones are expecting back home. You have to ensure that if you must do something, you must do it safely. The job is important, but to do it safely is much more important. That is first. And then we have some interesting legislations that I've mentioned. So let's look at some safety terminologies. Let us look at them. So the first one here is accident. There's no we want to talk about safety that we are not going to mention as accident is a common word. Although in the safety world today, we use the word accident interchangeably with the word incident. Now, we have a tiny difference. I'm just going to explain. Now, see incidents as a model. And accident. When you find accidents, you will find events and other things that will follow. Now, what's an accident? An accident is an unwanted event. An event that was never wanted, never planned for. There is no way, no matter how crazy it is, you can't just see somebody, except somebody that wants to commit suicide. Nobody will meet us and just say, "Okay, okay, why the answer yes? I'm going out, and have accidents." Of course, we are going to hide the person down. Maybe something is wrong, such a person upstairs. So nobody ever plans for accidents. It's usually unwanted. It's usually unplanned. And one thing with accidents is that accidents results to damages, harm, or injury to persons, to equipment, or even poses some level of threat to our environment. That is accident. Certainly, in an accident, when an accident happens, there may be some injuries, there may be some damages, there may be, deaths, okay, in the case of accidents. And one other thing with accidents is that accidents usually have a potential cause that you have neglected over the time. You can see the way I'm breaking it down now. We are looking at the properties or features of what an accident is. An accident is usually unplanned for. It is unwanted. Nobody wants it. But there is a potential cause of an accident that over time you have neglected. If you have corrected it, the accident will not have occurred. Over time, because it has been neglected, that's what accident will occur. And when accident eventually occurs, is either there is a damage, injury, health, or whatever to people, to equipment. This is a level of threat to our environment. So that is accident. So certainly, accident is just a type of incident. That's what I'm saying. Accident is a type of incident. Now, what happens to incident? Incident also is an unwanted event. What in this case, when it happens, it may not or result to it may or may not result to harm, injury, or death, as we have stated in the case of accident. So in other words, let's look at it again. We are talking about accidents. If accident happens, somebody might have been injured, somebody might actually what, some people will be damaged, there may be death or that. But when an incident occurs, there may be or may not be. So there are some incidents that may happen. There is an incident, but nothing actually went wrong. Take for instance, there may be a robbery incident at the work plant where you work or at the place where you work. And the robbery may actually fail in the sense that maybe the armed robbers were not able to steal anything. So maybe the security personnel came and what rescue the situation. Was there an incident? There is an incident. But nothing, no property was lost, nobody was injured and everything. You cannot call that an accident. It is not an accident. That is an incident. Because it happened, yet it did not result to an injury. Another tiny way for you to know the difference between accident and incident. Let's look at it. An accident has a potential cause that probably you could have identified and corrected so that you can prevent the accident. Such is never common to an incident. Never common. An incident will occur eventually, whether or not you may pay attention. Take for instance, the example I just there may be an armed robbery. That doesn't mean that the security was not actually what well planned and all that. But armed robbers can decide to storm any place. So that is an incident. Nothing we have done to prevent that. We have done all we could. We don't neglect anything. We lock all the gates. We put on the padlock. We employ security personnel, but eventually armed robbers actually will hit that place. So that is an incident. But in the case that there is a particular thing that we could have fixed, you have been saying it, you have been saying it, you did not fix it, and something like an accident now occurred on it, that is an accident. There is a banana peel on the floor. Every employee saw it that there is a banana peel on the floor, and everyone was passing that place. Nobody could pick it and put it in place. Eventually, somebody stepped on it. Person had a twisted ankle, fell, hit his head. That is an accident because there was a potential cause. There was something that caused it. As a driver, you are driving on the road and you have been told that you should use your safety belt. You have been told that this is the limited speed. What happened? Because you love the car so much and the road was free, you were running at a higher speed. You are breaking a safety rule. You refuse to use your safety belt. In the long run, accident happens, what happens, you got injured, landed you in the hospital. That is not an incident, that is an accident. Because there was something you could have done to prevent it, and now it has resulted in an injury. That is an accident. I hope you understand that. Now, what is a near miss? A near miss is an incident that nearly results to injury, nearly results to harm, or nothing actually went wrong. So a near miss, just like the name sounds, is what? Something we can say very, very close, but what? The means getting injured. Equipment is getting damaged. That is a near miss, just like near but miss. Near but miss. Okay, somebody that wanted to, let me give you some illustration. Somebody, okay, I've used the example of the banana peel before. There may be some reflex that you wanted to step on the banana peel and you just totally dodge it. So what does that mean? Eventually, it just so it remains little. Now, if near miss is being corrected, you can prevent a potential accident. For some people, even after they are still stepping on that banana peel, what will still happen? They will still go and leave the banana peel there. So a near means that is not being corrected in safety, say eventually it will lead to the accident. Let's look at hazards. Hazard is anything that has potential to cause harm, anything whatsoever. And that means that what almost everything where you work is a potential hazard. Your ceiling fan is rolling and rotating as it's rotating. Just pray that it keeps rotating like that and be sure that installation was totally what actually done. Because I have met someone before who had a mark on her face. She happened to be a pretty lady. She had a mark on her face. I saw the mark the first day, and I knew that there is no tribes I could actually attach such a mark. Because it did not look like a tribal mark, like it was an intentional mark. But I knew that there is no, and very looking at it, there was no second one or the other thing. It was just on one face. I could actually make such a mark. So I approached her and said, "Oh, you mind telling me about the mark of the face?" And she told me, "No, for some people, and the ceiling fan was working at the speed and it caught me." That's how it started cutting me. She said that she woke up with the hospital and her own mark on her face was even the least out of everybody in that room that was actually what that actually seriously injured. So and I've seen crazy electrician installing ceiling fan before. I confirmed what she was saying. In the real practice, okay, they're supposed to attach the ceiling fan to the main room. So you see some technicians, they will attach what will be holding your ceiling fan to the tie rod in your room. And the only way they will dramatize for you to know that it is perfectly installed is for them to now hang there and say, "Can you see it can support my weight? What is your weight?" with the continuous weight of a ceiling fan rotating at what at full speed. So if you don't monitor installation, proper installation, you may think that something is perfectly fit where it is, but it is an hazard that is just waiting for activation. And eventually, when it happens, the results will not be funny. So it is very, very important to understand that an hazard is everything, anything whatsoever that can cause harm. Okay, is an hazard. Incidents. I've explained that. Muster point. Muster point is an isolated area that the conflict normally needs as a safe place. In case there is a fire outbreak, that is where all the workers are together so that you can do the head count and be sure that nobody is trapped inside. And then the risk, we are talking about risk. Risk is the word likelihood, which is probability multiplied by severity. When we're talking about risk, we are looking at what is the likelihood that what an hazard can cause harm. And what is the likelihood that when it causes that harm, how severe will it be? Let's take an example. Your knife in your kitchen or at home is hazardous. But cut is the harm that can cause. Your knife is hazardous. Cut is the harm that your knife can cause. Now, when we now look at it, the kind of knife that is, you can now evaluate the risk of somebody using such a knife. If you are using this knife, what is the likelihood that what can cut your hand? That's what analysis. What is the likelihood that this knife can cause? Okay, look at it. Does it have hand? Is the hand okay? Right? So if we actually assess that, we're going to say, if we hold it here, there is every possibility that what it will not cut you. Now, we now look at it. Let me now assume that it cut you, it cut your hand. This knife that we are looking at, how deep will the cut be? So those are the two things we analyze in this analysis. The likelihood that an harm can occur and severity, level of severity will eventually occur. Okay? So we need to know the difference. And what is the difference? We want to look at some, I will come back to this slide. Let me move on. I'll come back to this slide. Okay, let's look at this slide. Like I've explained, when you look at the hazard and you become exposed to the hazard, then you have accidents. If someone is exposed to the hazard, we are talking about hazard being anything that has what potential to cause what harm. Potential to cause harm is an hazard. Anything whatsoever that has potential to cause harm is an hazard. So when you're not exposed to the hazard, then so things that are present. We have what we call unsafe acts, and we have what we call unsafe actions. Pay attention. Unsafe acts is an action, and that is why unsafe acts directly attached to what to the employees, to the people. If you are with me, please go to the main message and type I am with you. If you are with me, go to the main and type I am with you. Type I am with you in the main message. Type I am with you in the main message. If you are with me in this training, type I am with you. Type I am with you, please. If you are with me. Mr. Moderator, type quite audible.
Yes, you're audible, sir.
I'm Moderator, am I audible? Let's go ahead. I'm Moderator.
Yes, you can go ahead, sir. You're audible.
So please type I'm with you. Let's continue. So unsafe act has to do with what people are doing, what you are doing, what the employees are doing, the actions of the people in the work environment. And that's why you see some of the examples that I have listed here. Now, what is the unsafe conditions? Unsafe conditions are things that relate with what environment, the process, of our work, the process of the things that we carry out at our place of work. How do we do it? So, are they safe? That's what we call condition. Now, let's look at the example of unsafe act. Working without authority in the place of work is an unsafe act because it is a person that can do that. So anything unsafe act, think about it as something that somebody can carry out. Actions need to be carried out. So it's a wrong action or it's an unsafe action that is against the safety practices that someone is actually doing in the work environment. Smoking at the place of work, and it is boldly written, smoking is prohibited. That is an unsafe act. Drinking alcohol while on duty, that is an unsafe act. Gambling with safety, that is an unsafe act. There was a terrible incident that happened in a particular place of work. So the two employees, they were colleagues, and they were carrying out some maintenance on some machines, and they are done. And some people that are here may actually be familiar with what we call compressed air when we talk about industry. So there's a compressed air that's always been put in strategic locations where you can go and just dust your body, just set it to any needed pressure and use it to dust your body. So we don't know what happened. So the young man was using the compressed air on his body to dust his body. And we don't know the spirit that entered into him. And he looked at his colleague. He said, do you know that I can put these holes, I can put it in my mouth? He looked at him. And you know the normal spirits. A lot of people these days will not persuade you to do what is wrong. They would rather want push you the more. Okay? So what some people call whining. The other guy started whining. Don't put you well. You cannot do it. And you care. The person said, put your money now. Both of them, they set the bets. And unfortunately for him, it was this guy, this same colleague of his, he just put the holes in his mouth. And he told his colleagues to go and open the thing. So if he was the one that was opening the tap, maybe he could have controlled the pressure. The other guy that wanted to win his own bet, he was the one to open the tap and he put the holes in his mouth. In his own mind, in his own daft, foolish, idiotic mind, he thought that he would be able to use his throat to pump the air as if the air is Pepsi or Coke or drink, you can just stop halfway. And that was it. This is a true life story. The guy opened the air, and the inrush of the air into his stomach, he couldn't survive it. Betting on safety. So people can use their money to gamble. They can gamble on anything. The young man gambled and then he died. I've seen a lot of people that will gamble and they can touch a live wire and will seize their breath. Who told you? In what engineering procedure? In what engineering research? In what engineering book? In what engineering analysis have you seen that what electric shock can be prevented by you seizing your breath? Or you are carrying out an experiment or an assumption or an hypothesis that has not been proven right. And a lot of people will gamble with that. Hey, I can touch this voltage. I will seize my breath. Put your money. And then you gamble with your life. So safety, all these kind of things are unsafe acts that you will be nodding your head, but trust me, it's going on in the plant. When you hear some stories, you know the nature of our job. We go to plant, we go for inspections, we help companies to look at their safety culture and how they can actually revive it. You will see a lot of funny things and a lot of funny reports, and you'll be amazed. Failure to warn others of danger is also an unsafe act. Some people just care about themselves. When you're working, you are not working to save yourself. You have emphasized on that. You must be able to warn others. I'm going to talk about this later. You must be able to let others know dangerous zones, dangerous equipment. You must speak. If you see something, you must say something. That is the slogan of safety. Using wrong equipment is an unsafe act. In a lot of cases, we have people, oh, okay, you want to use spanner to lose this boat, but because you don't have pattern spanner, you carry plier. Started using plier. Over the time, what will happen? The boat, the thread will start to work, it will be wearing out, and it will not become worn. And another person that we have difficulties even using water spanner because you have used what the plier to warn it out instead of using the correct tools. Recently, I met someone that was consulting me. She's doing something that has to do with chemical, and she was saying that what kind of PPE she what she was doing was so personal. She just wanted to know the kind of PPE I would recommend for her. So I recommended, the clinical nose mask. I recommended, hand glove. I told her hand glove. In my real instincts, I told her the environment where she could go to get all these things because I was not available. And then what I was expecting is that when she gets there, she'll be able to tell them that. So she didn't know that there are different types of hand glove. So I was expecting her to tell them that, oh, I'm handling chemicals and I need what? Chemical resistive what? Hand glove. So she just bought, she bought a what is material hand glove, mechanical hand glove. That's what she got. And she was using it. I just received some complaint from her that one glove she bought, the chemical is entering. I said, snap it, let me see. She showed me. Goodness. Look at it. So in fact, not even using hand glove is far better than using this. Because in your own instinct, you will think that you are protected. Then chemical works, system hand glove. This is not the kind of hand glove. Did you tell them the nature of what you were doing? Say, no, she just told them that she wanted hand glove. And they give you, they are not at fault. Although the person that sold it would have also asked that, oh, what kind of hand glove do you have? But people that want to sell their market, then they just, and there are a lot of people to attend to, just say hand glove, and then you pointed at one. They thought that you know what you wanted, and they gave it to her. It's an unsafe act using a dangerous equipment, a wrong equipment is an unsafe act. Failure to issue control measure is an unsafe act. Horseplay. Have you never seen in the work environment where people will be chasing themselves up and down like kids? They'll be running. Okay? They'll be running, they will be playing. Horseplay at the place of work is an unsafe act. What about unsafe conditions? Inadequate or missing machine guards, and they tell you to continue using it. Don't worry, the machine, here's the cover. The cover has removed. Don't worry, just be using it. That's an unsafe condition. Never should you try that. Defective tools or equipment, and equipment is already faulty. They say you should manage it. It's an unsafe condition. Fire hazard is an unsafe condition when you have, exposed cable. There are some people that believe that they are engineers. When you go to their house, okay, you cannot even switch on their ceiling fan. You can't switch on their fan. They are the only one that can switch it on because you have to use one cable to touch another cable. The first time I went to our OD office, I was very disappointed. I looked at the connections, everything was just, saying, wow, how would this be happening in a place where, of course, they are the one into the electricity business. So why should their place look like this? So it's quite unfortunate that people that know that's very, very important. And people have that confidence that because they are an engineer, they deal with electricity, so they can treat electricity anywhere. Electricity knows nobody. When you mess up, it messes you up. And that's the way it is. So ineffective housekeeping can also be defined as an unsafe condition. Excessive noise, like I mentioned about the miners, an unsafe conditions. Poor ventilation and lighting is an unsafe condition. that shouldn't be encouraged at our place of work. They are not conditions you should be managing. They are unsafe conditions. So let's look at the interaction. Here is you. We call you the vulnerable object here. You are the vulnerable object. There is just a tiny barrier between you and the hazard. So when you breach that barrier, what happens? There could be near miss. That's the first arrow that you're looking at. Near miss. It's not actually what? Hooking the vulnerable objects. And there could be accidents that hit the target that actually affect the person. So in every analysis, let us look at the data. In the data where we have 600 near misses events, then there could be 300 injured person that first aid was able to actually bring back to shape. And when we have 300 people that first aid could treat, just know that we have had about 30 people that after the first aid, we still have to subject them to medical or treatment. And in the course of this, there are many of them, like 10 of them, that might not be able to return to work. And this will lead to lost time because they wouldn't be able to function in their field. So there will be less of employees in that particular unit, and one of them could eventually die. So this should tell you how important it is. So now here is a challenge for you. I've explained. Now it's time for me to hear your voice. Mr. Moderator, please be at alert. So is there anybody that can tell us the difference between hazard and risk? And any other person, you can say anyone, don't say the two, please. And the difference between incident and hazard. I want to know if I'm actually talking to someone. So Mr. Moderator, over to you, please.
All right, do we have anyone that wants to attempt? The difference between hazard and risk, and difference between incident and accident. So just signify, I'll call on you. Olukumi Victor, I can see your hand.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, based on my understanding, I would say hazard are the
Olukumi, we can't hear you again.
okay. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, please go on, sir.
Okay. I was saying, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and then I really appreciate this. So, I'll be talking about the differentiation between hazard and then risk. So, my base understanding is that hazards are the potential harms in the workshops or industry, whatever workplace an individual is working. And then the risk is the exposure, like exposure of oneself to the occurrence of these all these injuries in the workshops.
All right, thank you so much. Prince Emmanuel. Prince Emmanuel, I can see your hand. Akubiro Bright.
Good afternoon, sir.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me now, Prince Emmanuel? Can you hear me now?
Okay, so Prince Emmanuel, go first.
Okay, talking about incidents and accidents. Um, according to the understanding I just had, um, accidents are events that are not expected. Yes, they are not planned, but they are events that are possibly going to be injuries or deaths or one effect or the other. Why for the incidents they are and for the accident, sorry, the accidents are something that are event that can happen if not prevented. There could be signs that something like this will happen, but we overlook them. It can now cause accidents. Just like the example you gave, whereby in an industry where there is a banana peel and everybody is passing it and overlooking it, feeling that they can just cross it and everybody just goes free. Meanwhile, there can be someone whose consciousness wasn't looking at it, wasn't there, and maybe person have to maybe make the mistake of stepping on the banana peel and falls and maybe hit his head on the floor or hits anywhere, that's accident. Then incidents are events that are not planned also, but it's something that is sure that people can actually get affected because it's not something that maybe they saw coming, or that's my understanding, sir.
All right, thank you so much. So lastly, let's take Akubuiro, right?
Yes, good afternoon, sir. Okay, for hazard, I learned that hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm or injury or death to people. While for risks, I realized that risk is just the likelihood of an event or of harm to come on a person, or it's just the likelihood of harm to occur, and it also measures the effect of the harm if it happens, the effect that it has on a person or equipment or
All right, thank you so much. So let's move on with the class. Because of our time.
Health or property. I love the way the person that defined this, I love the way you put it. Okay, it's as if you are, I don't know if you were seeing what I have on my screen anyway, but I love the way you actually put it. So anything whatsoever that can harm life, health, or property is an hazard. And when we are talking about risk, we are talking about hazard. So let's look at this. Let's look at unsafe acts and versus unsafe condition. So I want you to be looking at some pictures I will give you because I will ask you to also give me an example. So these are unsafe acts. Let's look at the unsafe acts. Don't forget that I've actually explained what an unsafe act is, and I've explained what an unsafe condition is. So I'm going to give you some examples. I will need everybody to go to the in message and give me a unique example. Example of an unsafe act. When somebody is not putting on what that's an unsafe act. Because it's an action, a wrong action that you are taking that is against what safety rules and safety conditions. Okay, bypassing machine guard. A lot of people do this a lot. You say, oh, this thing is not working, and you bypass it. It was actually put there for a purpose, and yet you are bypassing. That's an unsafe act. Okay, working at height without harness. Harness is like the hanger that we normally use. Okay, when you're working at height, that's an unsafe act. Standing in line on fire, that's an unsafe act. What about unsafe condition? Let's look at other examples. Oil spilled on the floor, that's an unsafe condition. Damaged electrical cable, that's an unsafe condition. Broken ladder, poor lighting, no guard on the machine, that's an unsafe condition. Now let's go to the e-message. For two people can actually be allowed, Mr. Moderator. Give me an example, a unique example. Maybe something that is happening at a place of work. Don't mention the name of your company. That you can say this is an unsafe act that you have ever seen, or an unsafe condition that you would like at your place of work to be corrected. So you can raise your hands. Others that are not called, please go to the message. So let us make it practical. So let's go. Samojito.
Bashiru. Oh, sorry. Okay, Akubo Bright. Akubo Bright. You can unmute.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. Oh, all right, sir. Okay, so at my former workplace, I had a colleague of mine who didn't wear um, his coverall that day. So, and we do work at this environment where we have high pressure, steam. So it burnt his hand due to the fact that he was not wearing PPE. So that's an unsafe act in not wearing his coverall.
All right, thank you so much. Barry Swasebio.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So I've seen people work welders do their work without using proper goggles, um, using proper safety equipment for their hands. That can cause great risks in the workplace.
All right, thank you so much. Prince Emmanuel, you are the last person.
Okay, this one is not actually. Thank you so much, sir. Sorry, this one is not actually maybe in an industry, but this one is something that looks common. A place whereby people come to eat, but funny enough, where the woman stays and cook. Okay, even people that cook the food that they eat, that the workers eat, they don't cover their hair. And some of them mix hair with attachment, wool, this one of this. So, and they use those kind of hair without covering them to cook food and still serve people. And in some rare cases, though it's as if it's a normal thing, but if we check well, hygiene sometimes this is where hygiene comes in place. Some of them might eat maybe attachment and have stomach upsets because attachments or this hair doesn't go well with the stomach. That's for um, unsafe acts. Unsafe acts. Then for unsafe conditions, there's this gen house especially. Sometimes the owner of the this football where they watch football, sorry, don't normally keep everywhere in order because he believes that they just pay 100 naira. So where they do go to change over in case if there's no light, sometimes it's wire, just raw wire. So the person managing the site for him will just go to the jail house, carry the both naked wires and plug once it is time to change over. Those ones are unsafe conditions, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Let's move on with the class.
You have to be motivated.
All right, let me come. Okay.
Using airport on site. Using airport on site. That's very, very common with this generation. Using airport on site. On site. That's a very, so what do you call that? Unsafe condition or unsafe act? Unsafe act. Thank you. Thank you.
Elijah Uyesunji. Elijah Uyesunji, you can unmute your mic. Emmanuel Oko. Emmanuel Oko. Eating during work hour. Eating during work hour.
You're trying to use an equipment that you're not conversant with. Using an equipment that you're not trained. You're not conversant I'm satisfied. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can go ahead, sir. We are good with the contributions.
Thank everyone for such contributions. It shows that I have professionals following me. So there are a lot of course, you will still get the slides. We have promised that we'll give you the slides. So you can see common examples of unsafe conditions. Look at this place. We have poor lighting. Okay, it's not well lit. Look at the place that is well lit and the place that is not well lit. You can see that. Does not work in that. Poor housekeeping can lead to unsafe condition. It can lead to accidents. Look at this place, the exit door or
there is a automatic law, and the place is not well what tidy. It's not tidy up. Okay? So there are situations that should not be encouraged at the place of work. Now, this image that I have is very important. And when you look at this, I tag it defective tools. One of the unsafe acts that is very popular at the place of work is people not announcing that a particular equipment is already damaged. You need to make it known when a particular equipment is already damaged. And how do you do that? We say that what the defective tools should have and withdrawn from service until repaired. Don't leave any equipment that is already what defective, that is already faulty. An equipment that somebody can interact with, somebody innocently that did not know that is already damaged could actually what pick it and use it, receive shock, or something else could happen to the person. Try as much as possible to put every equipment that you use in the safe condition. And when you notice that what something is wrong with the equipment, be the first person to tag it, write it, put a tag around it, faulty. If you know the kind of fault, write the fault there and withdraw it from that particular place. Why must you withdraw it? Because some people, they are lazy in reading. Some people don't read. Some people don't read. They don't read anything that has to do with reading. And that's why in electrical safety, by the time we talk about electrical safety, you will see the importance of what, how you must lock out, even if you have tagged out. But when you use the tag, somebody may even not read. And that's why you have to use what padlock to show the person that what this equipment is not available for you. Okay? Let's move at the speed of light. So we have to know the difference. We can't overemphasize this. We have a lot of diagrams that illustrate this in today's presentation. Now, I want us to look at this image. It's very important. Is there anybody here that can identify for me? I just need one per person. This is a practical class. We don't just want to talk. One per person. I want you to identify any other hazard, any hazard that you can see in this picture. Can we identify? Raise your hand if you can see something that is a potential hazard here. Let the moderator call. Over to you, sir. All right. Ruby Rufus. Next floor. Thank you so much. You should be telling me what it will result to. Somebody can sleep on it and fall. Mr. Moderator, another person. Another person, please. All right. Zakariyahu Aliyu. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that name correctly. You did well. So aside from the wet, aside from the floor is wet, although you can see that the equipment are not properly arranged. So poor arrangements. Yes, poor arrangement of equipment are there. Yes, you're right. You are very, very correct. You are very, very correct. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Poor housekeeping, can say that. Any other person? Benita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Improper disposal of waste. You can see there's a trash bin there, which can lead to pollution, like smell.
That's not the place it should be. That's not the place it should be. But this is where they have their equipment. That's not the place it should be. Thank you. People are really observing. Somebody has not observed some other thing here. Let's go on, Mr. Moderator. Because of time. So you can see.
Onyinye Ambrose.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. I'm seeing some kind of water with I think that's oil spilled on the ground there, so it can lead to somebody sleeping down.
That's very great. Thank you so much. Balogun Joseph. Balogun Joseph, I can see your hand.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, aside from every other contribution, I can see that some of the equipment that are they are separate equipment, so they are not supposed to be together. So they are meant to be arranged properly. So since they are not arranged properly, so it's a possible hazard.
All right, thank you so much. So because of time, let's move on, please.
That's why if you have noticed the wet floor, this wet floor surface is an hazard. Okay. What other thing can you notice? Look at these holes that is here, this cable. Okay. This cable that is flying on the floor. Look at that. I don't know if that is a mob stick. Look at that mob stick. Somebody can step on it and okay. Or that cable can also result towards sleep. Right? So those are potential hazards. What have I done here? Because in the other classes, we'll still do more of this. But you must be able to look at an environment and you spot what is wrong. Most of the things that we normally do when we go to help companies. Can you share your screen? Okay. You see my screen now? Yes. So, like I was saying, most of the things that we normally do when we go to inspect, the safety culture of a company is for us to look at their employees. We watch them when they are working. We look at them, okay, and then we see the nature of the work for us to be able to know what could actually go wrong. So we can tell them that, oh, the way your workers are working, this particular thing could actually go wrong. So you must be able to work on your observation level. How you could actually look at what people are doing, and you are able to draw some lessons from the observation. So it is very important. Now let's talk about housekeeping. Somebody just mentioned this now. Okay, people say charity begins at home. Most of the times, what you see people demonstrate at the place of work is exactly how their house is being organized. Housekeeping can result in a lot of accidents. There are a lot of incidents and accidents you can control if you can actually take housekeeping very important. It is not just important for you to cook in the kitchen. Keeping your kitchen clean is much more important. Because that's what will tell us that your kitchen is safe from germs, and anything that is being taken or eaten from that particular place, we can consider the person taking it in being safe. Likewise, we can relate this to the company where you work. There was something so common when I worked as an electrical technician, engineering technician. That was 2009, 2010. I won't mention the company. So my engineer then, as a then, I just noticed that anytime we are going to work, he would tell me to carry his own personal tools. He didn't normally use the company tools. And one day I actually was telling him, I said, why are you using the company tools? Why do you bother yourself to bring your tools? He said, have you seen the condition of the company tools? And it's true, when you check the company tools, okay, you will not see pattern spanner again. Aside from those equipment that will be lost, people are not really stealing it. People take it to work and they forget it at the site. They don't care about what. Once they just bring up the machine, once they just correct the fault, that is all. I have seen nurses that fail at properly disposing their hand glove before, after their surgical glove, after attending to a patient. I've seen medical workers like that. People do it a whole lot. That they know how well to do the job, but to keep where they have done the job tidy, they fail at it woefully. Not knowing that poor housekeeping can result to a lot of incidents and accidents that could have been spotted and corrected. This image now, that's housekeeping going on. The equipment that you use, how neat is it? The cables that is bringing the supply, is it exposed in any way? The floor upon which where you are working, it doesn't matter if you are not the cleaner as a place of work. You should not be comfortable working, when the place is wet, when the place is dirty. There was an institution here in Lagos. They hype them so much. They give them so much. They have good community reputation and all that. But when you go in there, I have had a lot of programs done in there. I can tell you that their students are dirty, and their management, perhaps they are not prioritizing, cleanliness. You enter a class, 200 level, 300 level students, you see gala nylon, you see Pepsi bottle and all that littered on the floor. And guess what? Here is a waste bin very close to them. Nobody will drop it there. So for you to have a program in that particular work, literally, you have to dedicate like 1 hour for planning before you can start a program. So an art of business. Some people, if you put them to work in the industry, they will cause a lot of problems. To work with proper students. There was a company I was sent to. They reached out to us for some safety help. Of course, they had that problem. They have some, safety personnel already came to inspect their place of work, and it was a whole lot of problems. Guess what? When I entered here, I told them before we discuss, let me walk around. I'm walking around. I could see somebody who was actually welding, not putting on safety boots. No what? Face shield. I imagine somebody welding and is using his hand as the face shield, and with this, use the hand to cover, use the hand to cover. That was crazy. And this was the company that was rich. They had money to do all these things. But no emphasis on it. The funny thing is that they told me that they have a safety officer who was employed as a staff. And I met with him, a safety officer. Look at the first aid box. I was already seeing cobwebs on the first aid box. I think you don't need to even open it. I can tell you that with the long this for me to see cobwebs on your first aid kit, it shows that what you guys are not safety responsible. The person that was welding, he was welding, the machine that he was welding was at the north, he plugged the cable at the south. So yesterday when I was passing, I have to be signaling to him that, sorry sir, can you help me to lower the cable? I want to pass. So he will just lower the cable for you and he will jump. That was crazy. We need to know the proper practical way of housekeeping. It contributes to a lot of problems and you must avoid it. Now, moving on to one of our targets today is the emphasis on personal protective equipment. Now, what is PPE? PPE are materials that you may put on to protect or to give you a level of what? Safety against harm, against hazards. So PPE are equipment that you could wear, that could be worn by employees, by workers, to give them a level of what? Safety against what? Hazards. Okay? So, but defining PPE is not really what we want to look at. Because you have to define it. What we want to talk about PPE today is very important because there will be a lot of people today that are working in industry and of course they know about PPE. PPE has been abused and continuously employees are abusing PPE, believing that they know how to use it, but they don't know how to use it. Sometimes it is not the fault of the employees. Many companies that I have sampled practically, they don't give PPE training to their staff. You can imagine you resuming work, you just throw the safety boot at you, okay? Of course, is it not good? You should know that you should put it in your legs, so they don't need to train you with it. They throw the helmet at you, they throw the nose mask at you, and everything. But there are proper ways for you to actually use your equipment. You have to train them. Apart from the proper way that you have to use it, what about you keeping it, maintaining it, knowing when it requires replacement, knowing where when you have to buy another one. A lot of people have asked me in training before, how long should I use my helmet? I'll tell them, advisedly, when you use your helmet for 3 years, dispose it and will get another one. Don't say it is still shining. I have met employees that went to go and use paint to repaint their helmets ignorantly, not knowing that the chemicals in the paint will continue to weaken your helmet. Because your helmet is supposed to be what? An hard part, especially if you are working in construction. So using paint on it will weaken, okay, the strength of the helmet. So you're not to repaint. You are to what? To replace. There is no repair, actual repair to your helmet. There is an actual replacement to your helmet. So PPE are instruments, equipment that you could wear to provide you a level of safety against. Mind you, I have been emphasizing on a level of safety. Okay? I hope I'm audible. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible? Go ahead. So there must be proper maintenance to your PPE. Now I want to show you something. I made an example of someone that consulted me personally that she was actually doing something related to chemical. What kind of PPE she actually want to wear? Many people make that kind of mistake. I've been in a physical training before where somebody were talking about PPE, and the person confessed that she had used a mechanical hand glove to do electrical work before. I told him immediately that he will receive shock. He said yes, he received shock, and it was only God that saved him. If you use mechanical hand glove, that we what encourage was sweat and all that to touch electrical work. Electrical work has to do with what? Rubber hand glove. So woolen hand glove, clothes material hand glove are what they use for what? Mechanical. And it is better you don't even use that hand glove to do electrical work than for you to use it wrong. So let's look at it. This is the way somebody that is doing electrical work and need electrical protection, this is the kind of PPE that you put on. Protective helmets, rubber gloves, dielectric boots, that if it can withstand electric shock. And safety rope is for the electrical man. Look at the chemical person. Gas mask, because there are some masks that they are the kind of, they are built to actually restrict, gas intake. This is the nature of the work that you are doing. You must, if you are buying in the market, you must state the nature of work that you are doing. Because using a wrong PPE to do the job is far dangerous than not using PPE at all. For somebody to know that I am not safe, I'm at risk, is far better than somebody who is assuming to be safe and the person is not safe. Because I will say that you not using PPE, we are not saying you should not use PPE, but not using PPE is even far better than you using the wrong PPE. Rubber gloves, rubber boots, chemical protection cloak. Okay, it's very important for the person to put on. Look at the fireman, fire mask, fireproof gloves, oxygen cylinders. Fire could actually advance. The kind of glove you will use will not be the one that will be for the fire. Because of the nature of the work that the person is actually doing. Fireproof suits. Many people don't know that there are some overall that they are fireproof. Okay, that's what the fireman should put on. And if you are a medical practitioner, this is how you should appear. Biological protection, nose mask, medical gloves, bioprotective glasses, one-piece insulating clothing. These are the typical PPE for different kind of protection. Now let's look at the generic one. Now, the body parts for us to protect. We have the first one here, your eye. And what do you put on? Your safety glasses, your goggles. For your face, we have face shields. Face shield needs to be put on. For the head, we have hard hats. We have hair nets for those people that are working in the food production company, so that the product will not be contaminated. They are
have been to nursery before, you see what we put on like an helmet. That's also what we can call arts. It's an art, but it's not arts. Okay, it is net. It is an head protection, so that their hair, the hair on their head, will not contaminate what the products. Protect your food. Safety footwear is very important. I always tell people, your Timberland is not safety boot. Timberland is not safety boot. Safety boot is not how bogus the shoe look like in your leg. Many people mistaking that. When you see a real safety boot, there are metallic protection for your toes. There are metallic protection beneath your leg, so that if you step on nail or anything metallic that will penetrate to your foot, there will be stoppage. If anything should fall from height and fall on your toes, there will be protection. It's very important. Your shoe being big is not one, it's safety one. Safety boots have metallic protection. Protecting your hands and arms, you have gloves. There are some gloves that stop at the wrist. Some gloves actually stop at the arm's length. Your body, you can put on vest or overall, or what some people call overall. What it means that you are putting it on the clothes that you put on. Overall. The hearing aids, the hearing protective devices, we have earplugs, earmuffs, and earplugs. Earplugs look like your earpiece. You just put it in. Now, we have some people that are light sleepers that normally use earplugs. For earmuff, you look more like your headset. I think I have the diagrams here. So this is your goggle, your face shield. Okay, this is the earmuff. You can see that it looks like a headset. Earplug looks like your earpiece. That's the way it is. You have your harness, your safety cover, and all that. So look at the typical look of what a safety conscious person. Your head hat, okay, to protect your head, your earmuff to protect your hearing, your goggle for the eye protection, glove for the hand protection, okay, and so on. PPE is needed to reduce risk. Very, very needed. But you must know that there is a level of protection that PPE can offer. PPE is the last resort, is the last on the line of protection. We are going to see that, okay, in the other classes. PPE is just like the last resort. It does not mean that you want to endanger your life. So the fact that you are putting on bulletproof does not mean that you will stand in front of a armed robber and say, yeah, continue to shoot me. What if they refuse to shoot your chest and shoot your head? So it's just a level of protection, not that you are now totally safe. You are putting on your nose mask doesn't mean you should not open your nose for chemical and say I'm protected. No. It just wants to serve you a level of protection. It does not mean total safety. It's very important. To protect the integrity of the production, sometimes, like the airnet I talked about in the food production company, to uphold good manufacturing or construction practice, to protect oneself from occupational hazards, and PPE could also help us to demonstrate a good organizational practice. Never assume you already know how to use anything. Never assume, this person, is it not better for this person not to put on bucket in place of what? That's what we are talking about. Now, the bucket that is putting on is now obstructing it. You cannot even see what is actually doing. This is a level of danger. Now, tell me what kind of impact from the height that this bucket can actually stop. People think that it's ordinary bucket that is in your helmet. When you look at your helmet, there is what we call stopper, which actually is the one that stops your head. Your head, the stamp of your head, your head must not be touching the innermost part of the helmet. There must be space between the helmet, so that if there is any impact from the eyes, okay, it will only close that gap. But if your head is only touching the innermost part of the helmet. The stone or any metal that is coming can even break and make the helmet to enter into your skull. Dangerous. You have to wear it properly. Okay, it is very important. Look at this person. This is not fit for this person. There's no way this kind of person. They are working a plan. There are some dressing. There are some look that you should maintain. You can't keep this kind of hair and say that you are working a plant. What will this helmet do? Is the helmet to protect the hair that is so big or the forehead? This is an idiotic way to put on your helmet. A lot of people do this. A lot of people do this. They turn helmet to face down. Turn your helmet to the left, turn it to the right, and you are sagging. Put your hands out from your cover, and then you are dancing around the plant. If you are being caught in a company that is really strict with your safety, the safety officer just need to snap your picture, and then you find yourself in panel. In fact, safety, issue can get you out of the company, can get you fired more than job-related issue. It's very important. Now, this is the difference between somebody putting on the word PPE and somebody that is not wearing. They are not just in an office. Even in the offices like banks, okay, we have safety training for them. Your screen guard on your system is part of it. It's your PPE, so that you can protect your eyes. In the long run, you will not be having sight problem. When you go to some banks like Access Bank, you will not even notice that they are operating the system, because the system is actually buried under the table, such that they are having an interactive interface glass. See that on the side of the worker. That's a good practice. If you look at banks now, things have changed. The kind of chairs that they use, you can relax your back, you can stretch, you can go to the right, to the left. That's to prevent economic hazard. Hopefully, on that in the subsequent class. So today, we have looked wholesomely at the fundamental, things pertaining to HSE. We have looked at the terminologies. We have looked at the unsafe acts, unsafe conditions. A lot of things have been discussed. A lot of industrial experience has been shared. And now we have stopped on the analysis of importance of PPE, wearing your PPE correctly, getting trained on the use of PPE, not assuming that your PPE give you whatever safety, only for you to know the level of safety regarding you from some hazards. So it is very important we take note of this, and by God's grace, we'll continue, in the next class. I hope I've not taken a whole time. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me in today's class. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Let's welcome some questions. See you in the next class. Mr. Moderator.
All right. That was quite a very engaging class. In spite of the technical challenges we had, it was still worth it. Okay, so many thanks to our resource person, Mr. Jake and Fanny. So yes, our time is fast spent. This class was scheduled to stop at exactly 2. However, we've exceeded that. But let's see, can we take a few questions? So the next time, questions. All right, so please signify by raising your hand. All right, John Erinle, I can see your hand. Please go ahead with your question, Mr. John.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. The facilitator, thank you so much. I want to ask 2 questions. Number one is, which facility should provide PPE in the workspace, especially when workers are in a company? Is it the worker that needs to see to their PPE if the company is nonchalant about providing them? And secondly, what is the take of SHE, Health and Safety Environment, on the use of short trouser outside? So these are the two questions I have, sir. Thank you.
The second question, what is the position of the HSE on the use of what? I didn't capture that
The
correctly.
short trouser, the use of knicker by
Okay,
workers.
short trouser.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. That is well captured. Okay, Akubiro, right? Your question, please.
Okay, good afternoon, sir. So I want
Yes,
to
good
ask with
afternoon.
respect to Safe Act and Safe Condition. Okay, assuming you are operating a plant, possibly you're just learning, but yet you've been able to understand the processes of the plant, but you need authorization to do anything since you're just learning. But okay, so there was a situation where a limit, a design limit with respect to process has been reached, but uh, which would result into something else, something not good, maybe harm or failure of the system if it's not attended to. But your boss, which you are supposed to collect authorization from, is not around and not reachable at that point. Now you know the process, you know what to do. Should you wait for authorization or uh, operate, operate, attend to it? That's my question.
All right, thank you so much. That's a very, very interesting question. All right, so we'll attend to that in a bit.
I didn't get
Okay,
that.
so
You can recap on it. I didn't get it.
all right, is asking that should you wait for an
Last,
authorization when you have to work?
last.
Yes, can that person please mute his mic? Who's that? Thank you so much. So his question is that when you have a case, someone is interrupting. Okay, when you have a case where the person or the boss you have to get an authorization from for you to work on a plant is not around or is not available, should you go ahead to work on the plant without the authorization? I believe I captured your question correctly
Yes,
at
you did, sir. You did.
Akuo, right? All right, thank you so
Yes, you
much.
did.
All right, so I'll be taking two more questions so we can move to, we can dismiss from here in time. So Praise Ezekiel, I can see your hand. Praise Ezekiel. Adetunji Wahab, are you there? I can see your hand. Adetunji Wahab.
Yes, I'm with you there, sir. Can you guys hear me?
All right, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, in terms of safety, we talk about what's it called? This passengers line where they usually put in roads, like for passerbys in terms of crossing. So in that sense, yeah, there's no like there's no specifications. For example, when someone is crossing that says okay, people should wait because I've seen most places, in most cases in Nigeria, people don't obey that. Is it called zebra? What's it called zebra crossing or something like that? People don't obey it. When you even have to watch sideways in order to cross and stuff like that. So, is there a procedure we can put to like okay make like trucks or cars stop whenever people are passing by? Because in most cases, you still have to you understand look left and right and stuff like that. Most of the time, when they even see that someone is crossing, they don't even wait. Understand that kind of stuff. So that is my question.
All right, thank you so much for all the questions. Because of our time, we will be taking more questions, but what we are going to do is let's drop those questions on the platform. Let's drop your questions on the WhatsApp platform. We'll pick it up from there. We'll respond to everything. So that's why the group is there. So Mr. James, can we respond to these questions within 10 minutes? Mr. James, are you there?
Minutes, sir.
Is this something we can do within 10 minutes or less?
10
I just
minutes.
want
In
to.
less than 10 minutes.
Okay. All right, thank you so
In less
much.
than 10
Over
minutes.
to you.
They are straight forward questions. First, I want to appreciate every one of us patience and today's training. Despite some technical we faced at the stage. So I hope it's actually because we enjoyed ourselves and we still took the full class. The first question is on PP. Like I used in demonstrations, I always advise employee to invest in their safety. No, a lot of us believe that. Yes, I know it's your right. When it comes to companies and their policy, they need to really take care of the safety, especially when it comes to giving PPE to their staff, which is very important. But you know the reality. The reality is out there. I know some companies that even 3 months that have started working. They will tell you that there is no stock in their warehouse, and then you will have to wait. So are you telling me you would me to plants without your safety boots, without your cover, and they would have made you like they would have onboarded you. You have become a staff. They just tell you that maybe your size is not available or anything like that. So you need to invest in your own safety. Just like when bankers are being employed, many people will go and shop for suit and all that. Even if it's a second, they just manage to look responsible within that time that they get their first salary. So it's very important to invest in safety. Even if the company gives you, I know many companies that will give you inferior PPE. Okay, safety boot that you will wear in 2 months is already bending to one side. So you need to invest in your own PPE. It's very important. Just like I mentioned, even in your own tools, there is no excuse for somebody who actually wants to work and prioritize safety. You need to you prioritize safety, and in prioritizing safety, your finance has to be involved. Something you can personalize. Yes, your tools when you buy it. If you are the company, just ensure that what it is your tools, and you don't mistake it with the company's tools. If you buy your own safety boots, you go with it anytime. So it's very important that you invest in yourself. The other one about way of knickers. Well, that's a straightforward questions because it's actually relates safety policies. OSHA, you know, all HSE, organizations. Okay, they are strictly, against that. You will never see in the okay, so it's very important that we know that your arms, when we are talking about skin coverage, we are referring to your arms, we are referring to your legs, we are referring to your torso. And why must you cover all this? Because you are open to cuts. So exposing your legs can make you, to sustain cut easily. So cars, you are exposed to heat, you are exposed to ultraviolet rays, you are exposed to sweat, you are exposed to, machineries. So it is very important. Or you professionally you put on your coveralls, some people overall a clothes on your clothes that will cover you very well. Coveralls must be comfortable, not too loose, not too tight, so that you not get entangled with a machine, and also you will not be uncomfortable throughout the time that you are working. So knickers is not allowed, in the plant, irrespective. In as much you know that it is safety or anything, it's not polite. It's not even it does not align with safety. So let's stick with that. Don't let me drift to management. Disadvantages of putting on nika. About authorization, authorization is a very serious issue. In our subsequent classes, you will know why authorization is very important. In as much the company will appreciate what you want to do, it is also very important for you to be authorized. Okay, because you are a staff, and whatever you do, definitely you answer for it. Although there are some things that company can let loose, that they just leave it to your own innovations, to your own creativity. But when it comes to what safety, we speak authorization. If you want to work on a particular equipment, authorization starts with what your line clearance, making sure that the electrical department shut down the electrical supply to that particular equipment. Even the control room must know that something like that is going on. It's not about even knowing, it has to be documented. So that is authorization. You don't just wake up one day in the plant and you feel that, oh, this thing should be done, and then you just approach it. No, that's against safety. People need to know what you are doing. And that's why we encourage that people should work in tools in company. When you are working, you work in tools. You don't just send one person to go and rectify the fault. Whilst one person is actually working, the other person is standing there, is observing. You can tell him, oh, don't touch that. Oh, you observe the. If anything goes wrong, it might be the one that will rescue the person. So in safety, we don't work alone. We work in tools, minimum of tools. And that is why authorization is very important. People need to know what you are doing. It is good that you want to do what is good, But the best thing, what is good, doing what is good, start with what? Getting authorization. Especially when you're talking about confined space and all that. About zebra crossing, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yes, in this part of the world, trust me, like what you said, you will have a very horrible experience trying to exercise your rights about, crossing through zebra crossing. And what's the problem with this? The problem with this is just simply what? The governance, okay? The justice system, the implementation of policies. It is one thing for you to make policy. It's another thing for you to implement it. Now, let me be factual with you. There are most of these things that, in this part of the world, they are being seen in developed country, and they just want to replicate it here. Now, what we don't understand is that before some policies actually stay, okay, there must be orientation and reorientation for people. A policy cannot stay when people are not well oriented about it. Do people even know? In fact, like what we are talking about here, some people don't even know how to recognize zebra crossing. Some people just think that is a decoration on the road. Adults, educated people, I want you to ask people after this training, try to sample what I'm talking about. Sample people that are educated. I'm not talking about uneducated people. Like when you are passing, just ask them that randomly, that what is that line on the road? What does it represent? You will see that people don't even know that there's anything called zebra crossing. Except people that have exposure, or people that, even people that drive. There are some people that they are drivers, they don't go to driving schools, they don't even know road signs. They just know that they have to start the car and just move it. Okay. And for me, like I told you, it was in a particular company here in Nigeria that I saw that so zebra crossing can be this effective because people were conditioned to actually obey it. And that's what I mean by governance. Because the government that is ruling that particular company has made it mandatory, and there is a penalty attached to what you actually were defaulting that particular policy. So if there is no consequence to you violating a safety rule, people will not obey it. There must be a consequence, and you must make sure that anybody that violates it must face that consequence. And that's why people violate it anyhow. So there is nothing we can do than for the government that implement it to make sure that what people are enforced. That's what we call about enforcement. It has to be enforced. People need to be educated. People need to be oriented that this thing is for our own good. Pedestrian will cross. Even the pedestrian crossing we are talking about. How many of us here actually use the bridge, pedestrian bridge, to actually cross the road? A lot of people will just cross the express. They don't know the importance and they don't know the risk. So let me stop there, Mr. Moderator. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. James. Yes, and on that note, we are going to be drawing the curtains here on the day one class of this professional training on health, safety, and environment. All right, so please, as we mentioned on the group, those who want to pick up the certification, you can start making your payments for it, because once the training ends, you have just about 5 days for you to make payment for your certification for the course. All right, so please let's do that. Information relating to that is going to be dropped on the WhatsApp platform again, so you can have access to how to go about it. So please and please don't pay to anyone who is chatting you up, or maybe send you a personal account to send money to. You are paying for your certification to the official company's accounts. So nobody is going to chat you. Is going to chat you up as maybe a member or a representative of CC Concepts that you should send money to any personal accounts. So please, let's be careful of scammers. So avoid them. There's little we can do to control them. They can chat you up, but most importantly, information that we have for you will be passed on across on the group, on the WhatsApp group. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. Someone is saying I'm not on the WhatsApp group. Mr. Emmanuel, you can chat up the admin. I don't know. You should. How do you get access to this link? You are not on the WhatsApp group. Perhaps you are one of the orientation groups. So go to the group, the orientation group. Try to find the admin number on that group. So once you chat up the admin number, tell them you joined today's training. So they would add you up to the registered group. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. On that note, we are doing the courses here. We are going to be making use of the same link, classroom link tomorrow. If otherwise, we'll let you know on the group. So same time, same venue, same time, 2 p.m. 12 p.m. rather, is when tomorrow's class is going to commence. So please try as much as possible to be in attendance. Okay, so till then, okay, Manuel, you joined via email. Hey, if you joined via email, then you should All right. So before we end this class, I will drop the admin number you should chat up for you to be added to the group. All right. So till we meet again tomorrow, please have a lovely evening. Thanks so much, everyone. You can unmute your mic and tell me bye bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Yes, sir.
Please, the deadline for the payment of certification under one free certification and 50% discount, you can see the counting of days on that group. When it ends, the certificate payment goes to the original price. So we have 7 days left from today. So work out your plan and make sure that you take advantage of the free certification and the 50% discount. It is very important. So when it's over, it is over. So pay attention to how the update is going on the group and let us take advantage of it. If you pay for HSE 1, definitely you are going to be issued HSE 2 certification free. That's the plan. If you make payment for HSE 1 and 2, your HSE 3 certification is going to be what? Offer for you free. And this is a very rare opportunity that you could ever have with our company. So make good use of it. Once the window closes in the next 7 days, then you need to actually do the normal payments for the certification. And definitely it's not going to be under 50% discount. So let's work with that. Thank you.
Sorry, did you not take attendance again? I'm not heard you say anything about that.
The attendance leave was